order our Wednesday, March 12th board meeting, Board of Trustee meeting. If you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much. First up, we have approval of the agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve. So approve the agenda. Is there a second?
I check it.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Great, thank you. We have a consent agenda. I will go ahead and go through the items on there. We have the minutes of the February 12th, 2025 district board meeting. Consent agenda B, revised policy, board meetings. C, revised procedure 40-01, board meeting order of agenda. D, revised policy 404, records retention. E, revised policy 406, identity theft prevention. If you are okay with all of those on the consent agenda, I'd entertain a motion to approve. Thank you. Is there a second? A second. All those in favor say aye. Thank you. One last check with Zach. Are there any public comment? Thank you. First up, we have our presentation of Excellence at Ames with Shannon McCaslin, our Dean of Students.
Good afternoon. Let's see, get this up here. Good afternoon, Board of Trustees. Josh and I are very tall. Giants almost. Wait till you meet the all-in student that I recently got to meet. Josh Lister, like all the students I bring to you, has quite the story. He'll be graduating in May with cum laude distinction, I might add, with both an Associate of Arts degree with a concentration in philosophy and an Associate of Science. Even that fact is pretty amazing since Josh hated school before he came here. And in the years since high school and before he came to Ames, Josh described himself as a shut-in, a homebody, and a recluse. But in the fall of 2022, he made a change, a pretty gutsy one. Being here right now is very gutsy for this young man. And he also, when he came, applied for and landed a job at Artie's Bistro, which he's going to talk more about. He does all of these things. He works his tail off behind the scenes. So I'm really excited to have you hear from him. He hasn't been in the spotlight much in his adult life. And it just warms my heart to give him this chance. P.S. Listen for more information about the quail. He's got that towards the end. Okay, enough from me. Let's hear from the all-in Josh Lister.
Hello, Board of Trustees and Dr. B. Thank you for giving me a couple minutes to share my story. When I think about my journey here, I remember the old Josh. And I think of the new Josh. When I was 16, my dad passed away from cancer. In those days and weeks after, my life changed. And I felt alone. I began to absorb myself in video games. I played them religiously, from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed. It was a world where my dad wasn't dead. It was a world where I had friends. It was a world where my family was whole. That was 2009. I retreated so far into myself that even talking to anyone felt like an impossible task, like scaling Mount Everest. My mom would have to call the doctor to make appointments or order pizza. I escaped into other realities, from books to movies to video games. This was my existence for 13 years. This was the old Josh. In December of 2020, I realized that these friends in my video games weren't real friends. They were people who played with me online but didn't know me. So I worked up the courage to look for real friends online on a social media platform called Reddit. And I found someone who helped pull me out of my fantasy world that I was living in. At the same time, my brother had taken steps to enroll at Ames, and this inspired me to do the same. So in August of 2022, I enrolled at Ames and got a job at the Bistro. This is the first job I've had that hasn't felt like work. The first that struck with me. I'm almost addicted to working at the Bistro. It has given me energy I didn't know I had. and has made me more productive in my home and school life. I enjoy the feeling it gives me when I complete tasks. It helps me appreciate little things. I've made true friends at the bistro, and it has taught me that socializing doesn't have to be scary. The new Josh has grown so much. Taking English comp in my first semester, something I believed daunting, turned out to be the best decision I had made. It made me enjoy writing again. It made me curious about subjects like philosophy. I'm a huge thinker. I love creating stories in my mind, and philosophy has opened up new ways to look at the world and help me understand myself better. Ames has opened up new possibilities for me and given me a new appreciation for learning. When I began to believe I could work and go to school and be successful, I had a happy accident and found a love for quail. I know quail aren't the usual pets, but I fell in love with birds. I call them my babies. They help me appreciate life, all life. I now have 21. One of my dearest is Whitey, pictured on the screen behind. He has gone through a lot. He is a survivor, and he reminds me of myself. I am glad I took the first terrifying step toward Ames. In this place, we have an environment where people can flourish like I have. In this place, we have come to our own realizations and leaned into our full potential. At Ames, I have gone from the caterpillar to the butterfly. And I've come to realize that the only thing in our way is ourselves. My journey to new Josh is never ending. We must never be afraid to try new things and meet new people. It begins with believing in yourself. We must be our own cheerleaders. The new Josh doesn't let fear stop him anymore. Thanks for listening to my story.
It's very satisfying to hear the story of your journey to the new Josh. And speaking on behalf of all of the board, that's one of our favorite parts to this whole meeting is to hear about student successes. And just we encourage you to keep marching forward. And there are new successes out there for you that I'm sure you will achieve in the future. So congratulations. And here's a token gift from the Board of Trustees. And it's been our pleasure to hear your story.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. That was incredible. It's great to see you going that way. Way to go, man. Thank you. Thank you. We all appreciate that. Okay. Next up is our representatives to the board. Our Ames Faculty Association is currently vacant. However, we have just Sarah Zeller has been appointed and she will be starting in April. So very excited about our new representative. Today we'll start with our Ames Staff Association, David Mont.
Now I know what it feels like to try to follow the student presentation. That's rough. I just want to start by saying it's hard for me to imagine getting to this point where one of the actually least stressful parts of my week is getting up and doing public speaking on TV and permanent record in front of the whole college and the cabinet and board. So I'm glad to be here. So thank you, Chair Schock, members of the board, cabinet, colleagues and friends. All right, so this month I get to update on our monthly SA meetings, we just had one last week. And then we've got our next one that's actually our last one of the year already. So we just had a planning event this week and we're already looking at end of semester. So it's hard to imagine that we're almost there already. So and then we do have some volunteer opportunities I want to talk about for this semester. And then I've got a ribbon this one. So I'll start with our ASA monthly meeting that was last Friday. We hosted that out at the airport at the Flight Training Center. And if you remember, that's been an initiative that the leadership team set out that we would host those meetings on site, hybrid, and try to touch all of the locations throughout the year. And so we've accomplished that. So we're really proud of that. And it's been, I think, an overwhelming success to actually get boots on the ground at all of our locations. And so a big part actually of our meetings last week were tours of both the flight center and the new aircraft maintenance school. And so I think a lot of folks who hadn't seen either of those buildings were really blown away. So I wanted to specifically thank Caroline Coppin and Gus Ramirez for their tours of the flight center. Caroline helped a lot with all of the logistics setting up as well. And Gus, I wanted to highlight because he did a great job, really, really good job of giving us a tour and answering all kinds of questions from all over the place that we peppered him with. So he did a really good job at that. Then for actual content of our agenda, we heard from Eric Himmler to talk about, as you all are very familiar with now, the aviation ecosystem of all of the different programs. So very informative, lots of questions as well from everybody. So I want to thank Eric as well for his time. And then we also heard from Ross Atkinson with the Veteran Affairs office that he's new to the college in the last, I think, 6 months or so, maybe less. And so I'm excited to hope that you all get the opportunity to hear from him because that office is doing a ton of really new, really exciting things. So his presentation was very informative as well. Like I said, we ended our meeting on Friday with a tour of the AMTC, the flight maintenance or the aircraft maintenance training center. So I want to thank Eric and Michael Sasso for their time they spent with us. It was a very thorough tour. It ended up actually taking a little bit longer than we were expecting. So if any of you are supervisors and any of your staff were at that meeting and they ended up taking maybe a little bit longer than you expected, that's totally my fault. So accept my apologies for that. But again, it was incredibly informative. And I think really for the most part, everybody was blown away with that. So like I said, we've got one more staff meeting for this year. That'll be April 4th at the Allied Health and Sciences building. And we don't quite have the agenda nailed down yet, but that's coming soon. Okay, I wanted to highlight our 2 volunteer opportunities for this semester. We have 2 this year, or this semester. Last semester, we just had 1 with the Weld Food Bank. This semester, we have 1 with Weld Food Bank Friday, March 21st, which is next week already. And I just sent out the sign up link as of an hour ago. There were 7 spots left. So if anyone's interested, let me know or check that email for the sign up. Like I said, that's Weld Food Bank. And then we have another event on Friday, April 18th with Habitat for Humanity. And we actually broke that out into, I guess, 2 separate events. So the first is from 9 to 1 on Friday, April 18th. We're actually on the Hope Springs construction site. So we have 10 slots open to actually go and get your feet dirty and your hands dirty and swing some tools, hopefully in the right direction, the right way. Actually doing some construction from 9 to 1. And then we also have 10 slots from 2 to 5 at the Restore at the Greeley Mall. So if you rather stay indoors and do some work there. So I haven't sent out the links to those yet. I didn't want to get that out too early. Folks will forget about it. So I'm going to send those out in about 2 weeks. Okay. That's my updates for volunteer events. And then I'll end today with a Ripple. And so for this month, it's Anna Scott, Program Manager in Events. And this Ripple was submitted by Chris Peterson. Right, again, Anna Scott. Anna is amazing. Every time we have had to set up an event, Anna has gone above and beyond to make sure everything was set up and ready to go. We have never had any issues. She communicates throughout the whole process, sends layouts, and helps to prepare the best layout based on your needs. The other day, and this is financial aid, we had the Colorado Department of Higher Education come to do a high school counselor training with over 90 attendees. Everything was set up and ready to go. When they asked for last minute adjustments, Anna was there to make sure it was covered. She takes it all in stride where others may be flustered. She hangs out for the full event just to make sure there are no issues in it. And if there are, she does her magic. I couldn't imagine doing all this work myself. Anna, you truly represent Ames like a champion. Thank you, all capitals, 4 exclamation marks. So thank you, Chris, for that nomination. Thank you, Anna, for embodying the values of Ames. A great job. And that concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Any questions? Thanks, Dana.
Thanks.
Up next, we have our Student Government Association, Jeff Thatch.
Good afternoon, esteemed members of the board, Chair Schock, President Bornstein, faculty, staff, and my fellow students. First and foremost, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to stand before you today as the Student Government Association president. It's an honor to represent the voices of our students and share the incredible work that is happening across our campuses. Our Student Government Association has been hard at work this year, and I want to take a moment to recognize the efforts of our fantastic team. Each member has been tackling important issues that impact our student body, and their dedication is truly inspiring. I'll start with myself. I've been attending college council meetings, which are a joy because it's cool to see an efficient meeting like that. I've also coordinated external office hours, including the regional campuses, for SGA so that students can contact us directly. In order to prepare, I worked with our graphic designer to make new table runners look as sharp as possible, because nothing says student engagement like a well-branded table runner. Our Executive Vice President, Camila, has been working with the Registrar's Office to explore ways to protect students' privacy in Workday. She's also leading discussions on merging D2L emails with Gmail, because if we can consolidate even one of the 10 million emails we get, that's a win in my book. She's also been in touch with IT about making Workday more user-friendly for student employees, because anything that makes filling out our time cards easier is a cause worth championing. Our VP of Admin Services, Mariah, is spearheading sustainability efforts at Artie's Bistro to reduce container waste, and is continuing her collaboration with facilities and operations to bring an all-gender restroom to the Westview building. It's a big step towards inclusivity on our campus, and we're incredibly proud of her work. Our VP of SACE, Alicia, has been instrumental in securing funding support and approval for the installation of egal period pad dispensers in all women's and all gender restrooms. This is a game changer for menstrual equity on our campus, and Alicia's dedication to this cause has been nothing short of inspiring. Our VP of Public Relations, Ajit, has brought forward an amazing initiative to create a shadow box in the student commons, where graduating students can add their names each year. It's a way to celebrate our students' achievements and inspire future graduates to push through the finish line. And then there's our student parent advocate, Mindy, who has organized a weekly student parent group to provide a support network for parents balancing school and family life. It's initiatives like these that build the sense of community and belonging that make the college so special. Beyond SGA, our campus is buzzing with student-led activities sponsored by CAP. They're hard at work making sure students have opportunities to engage, de-stress, and support one another. You can find the details about their events in your board packet, in addition to information about the new ASL club, who is our club of the month. And then I also want to let you guys know about the Second Chance comedy show hosted by the Artie's Recovery Connection student leader team on April 18th in this building down in the auditorium. This event is free and open to the public. It features a lineup of comedians with addiction lived experience, because who says comedy can't tackle the tough stuff? This is comedy with heart, a powerful mix of humor and vulnerability. It's about the shared human experience of overcoming and finding light in dark times. This event is for adults and may not be suitable for those under 18. Viewer discretion is advised. Before I wrap up, I want to say how grateful I am to be a part of a college that truly listens and supports its students. The work we do in SGA wouldn't be possible without the collaboration and support of faculty, staff, and the administration. So thank you for believing in the power of student leadership and giving us the opportunity to make a difference. With that, I'll end on this note. If you guys haven't attended a CAP event or stopped by one of our SGA external office hours, please consider this your second invitation. We'd love to see you there, and you won't want to miss out on the debut of those new table runners. They're going to be so exciting. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yeah, any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we'll start our action item. 7A is the appointment of Board of Trustee Liaison as designated election official. Dr. Bornstein?
Thank you, Chair Schock. As stated in your packet, and I will read the summary aloud for the record. Per Colorado Revised Statute 23-71-110 (5), Members of Board of Trustees shall be elected at the regular biennial school election of school districts within the local college district. Any person desiring to be a candidate for the office of trustee shall file a petition for nomination pursuant to CRS Section 1-4-803 and Part 9 of Article 4 of Title 1. The election shall be conducted pursuant to the provisions of CRS Articles 1 to 13 of Title 1. The Secretary of the Board of Trustees shall be the designated election official responsible for the election. Per Ames Community College Policy 12, Board Officer Elections and Responsibilities. Number 2. Any of the special duties of the board secretary may be delegated by the board to a paid secretary who may be appointed by the board. CRS 23-71-125. Designation of an election official regularly takes place at Board of Trustees meetings in March during odd-numbered election years. This is 2025. We're an odd number year, and this is an election year. The administrative recommendation is to approve appointment of Jerry Harvey as the designated election official for the November 4th, 2025 board elections. Chair Shaw.
Thank you. Any questions? If not, I would take a motion to approve the administrative recommendation to approve appointment of Jerry Harvey as designated election official for the November 4th, 2025 board election. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we have action item 7B, our Distinguished Fellow Award with trustee Jean O'Hare.
Just to remind people, the Distinguished Fellow Award is granted by the Ames Community College in recognition of outstanding service to the college. Annually, the Board of Trustees may recognize extraordinary commitment, allegiance, excuse me, and contributions by an individual. And the nominees come into the Distinguished Fellow Committee. I had the honor of serving as the chair of that committee this year. And we had 2 strong applicants, and I will summarize here. The Distinguished Fellow Award Committee is pleased to unanimously endorse Lyle Batziger as the 2005 Distinguished Fellow. And let me just read an excerpt from the nomination on what Mr. Batziger has done for Ames and for this community. Mr. Atchinger has been a gift to Ames Community College and the Northern Colorado community, and he is a true example of a distinguished fellow. He served his country in Vietnam and returned home in 1971 to attend Ames, where he earned his associate's degree. And in 1977, Mr. Atchinger took a CPR class at Ames, which kicked off a long career as an EMT and a volunteer firefighter throughout Northern Colorado, during which time he also taught the EMT courses at Ames for 10 years. His dedication to serving the community did not end when I'm going to continue beyond that. He served as mayor of Evans, Colorado, from 2008 to 2014, and served on the Ames Board of Trustees in his latter part of his service from 2015 to 2023. He served as secretary of the board in 2017 and through 2019, and chair from 2019 2023. Just an outstanding citizen of this community and strong supporter of Ames. So it is our pleasure to recommend to the board that Lyle Hatchinger serve or be recognized as a 2025 Distinguished Fellow.
Thank you for your work and thanks to the committee's work on this. I think Lyle is perfect for this award. And so this does come with a recommendation to approve to the board, so I would entertain a motion to approve. I would like to approve Lyle as our Distinguished Fellow Award for this year. Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Great. That will be fun to recognize him. Very nice. Again, thanks for your work, Trustee O'Hare. Okay, next up, we have informational items. The first one up is our events calendar and upcoming work session agenda items with Jerry.
Thank you, Chair Schock. If you'll find there in your packet, first we'll start with the calendar of events. The first one that I will note is for tomorrow, March the 13th, we have the Ames Workplace Innovation Center groundbreaking ceremony here on campus from 2 to 3 p.m. And it will be at the site of where they're going to build the building. So parking will be down by the purchasing and facilities area. So you can park there, just walk across the street to that area there. I also wanted to note that Megan and I got finalized list of the Celebration Week activities. So you'll note those haven't been in your weekly emails yet, but they will be coming on Friday, the first email with those in there. So I'll have the full list of all the Celebration Week events and activities in there for you to get on your calendars. One of them that I do have for sure right now to give you is for the President's Reception. It'll be May the 14th from 3:30 to 5 p.m. Here in this building. And the rest of the list of those events will be provided in starting this week with your weekly email, and then until we get to commencement itself. Moving on to the annual calendar of items, looking ahead to the April board meeting. The April board meeting will be on the Fort Lupton campus, so it is incorrect. There's a typo here in the packet, but it will be on the Fort Lupton campus. During that work session, I'll be reviewing the proposed tax information, proposed budget, and then taking action on compensation and benefits plan, which was provided by Dee earlier today during the work session. And we moved ahead since the committee was able to meet earlier for the Distinguished Fellow. You'll see that that's listed there for April, which is usually when it happens, but the committee was able to meet earlier, so that's why you guys took action today. For any questions?
Any questions or comments? Okay, great. Thanks, Jerry. Next up, we have 18, which is our Foundation Board Liaison. Trustee Wendell.
Okay, Foundation update. Year-end appeal. This year's mailing was personalized to donors' interest, which resulted in 113% increase in giving just for this one request. Total raised was $46,363.66. Strategic planning update. The Foundation Board has been diligently working on their strategic plan. The Foundation's Board's Strategic Planning Committee meets regularly and will have their new strategic plan that aligns with the college's plan by May 2025. Annual tax letters. Tax acknowledgement letters were designed and sent out at the end of January to all the 2024 donors. They have something that's called the Scholarship Power Hours. So they hosted 6 Scholarship Power Hours at all 6 campuses in collaboration with financial aid to help students complete and submit the Foundation scholarship applications. We're excited to say 1,061 applications were completed, which is double from last year. And I've been told that 2 faculty members suggested that their students after class go on out and fill out their application. So hats off to those 2 faculty members. The Foundation hosted a room recognition celebration in February for Ent Credit Union. Ent Credit Union, as they donated at a level deserving a signage recognition. So the room recognition was for Artie's Pantry at the Windsor Gateway Building, which is great. Community support, they hosted a foundation, the foundation hosted a table at the Greeley Chamber annual dinner. They also captained a table at the Success Foundation fundraising event. And they also supported the event of the Project Self-Sufficiency, which is a program designed to help single parents acquire or reach to get their degrees. Strategic plan, goals, and achievement. They added 50 new donors, 223 new donors year to date. And they'd like to increase their total giving by 250,000. Their goal is 1.25 million. And as of today, they have earned or gained $876,050. So they're on their way. They've done a great job. And I told Kelly that I would do a little advertising for those of you here and out in Zoom land. They have 5 areas of scholarships that you could give to if you'd like to. And those are the Artie's Pantry. The next one is Tools of the Trade Scholarship, the College Promise Program, the Student Emergency Fund, and general scholarships. And if anyone's interested in doing that, they can just go to amesfoundation.com. They're doing a great job. Heidi, any questions for Heidi? You guys do a great job in the foundation. Thank you. Okay, next up, we have the CEO President's Report with Dr. Bornstein.
Thank you. Before I hand it over to the first monitoring report on our agenda, I'd like to take a point of privilege here. This was just in right before our meeting today. It is a recognition by the it's basically the Community Partnership Award for 2024 was awarded to our Fort Lupton campus. And yes, it's quite a long dedication here, but I'm going to just pull out some words. So they talk about the support in the areas of economic development, specifically connection with local businesses to provide advanced job experiences, talking about our concurrent enrollment programs, our CDL driving classes, our general studies classes, our welding, et cetera, EMS, firefighter, police officer. The paragraph I'd like to read, quote, "We are blessed to work with Ames in our community and especially with Julie Lukengay, the executive campus director leading the campus. Thank you to Julie and Ames for their commitment to our community and all of the lives they have touched during their 44 years in the Fort Lupton community. In recognition of this commitment, we thank you for being an outstanding community partner." So we'll put this in next month's board packet, but this is hot off the press. So you didn't hear that. So congratulations, Fort Lupton campus. Woohoo! All right, so now without further ado, Dr. Ayler would like to offer some updates and monitoring report a little bit on the allied health and wellness area of the college.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bornstein, Chair Schock, trustees, cabinet, guests. This month, we're highlighting allied health and wellness. And there are some slicks with some color and some data that are also in your packet, but the high level information here is the division consists of 6 departments. Allied health and wellness, nursing, nurse aid and medical prep, radiologic technology, health science, and physical education and recreation. Within the division, we have 21 full-time faculty, 88 adjuncts, 11 full-time staff, and 44 part-time staff. We offer 4 degrees and 14 certificates, and we've seen some real big increases in enrollment this year in the fall. Fall headcount went up. Our fall headcount was 1,195, which is almost an 18% increase from fall 23. That translates into an FTE of 169, which is about 21% higher than fall 23. Spring 25, this semester enrollment is 1,115, which is a 44% increase from the prior year and translates to an FTE of 166, which is an 18% increase from the prior spring. Within this program, many of the students go out into the community and do clinical service to get practical experience for their degrees. And we have 120 clinical partnerships that are managed in the division and where we send our students. So they do a tremendous amount of work with the community. In your packet, you also have some data. I'll just clarify a couple of things. In all of the areas, you have a graduation rate and a course completion rate. Most of the programs are cohorts of students. And so the graduation rate represents of the cohort of students, how many graduated and finished the program. The course completion rate, people other than just majors in the program will be in the courses. So this is of people taking the courses, how many successfully completed courses, and that's a very nice rate there. Then we have some people highlighted in the last couple of pages there, and very proud of the work that they do, providing health and wellness professionals for our area. And I would entertain any questions that you have.
Trustee Hazel.
Thanks to you and the outstanding work of that department to increase the number of students that they're serving. You know, when you have that large of an increase, are you able to maintain the student teacher ratio that you had prior to the increase?
We are. We changed the number of adjuncts that we bring in to help with that. And we've been looking at how many people can we bring in and still fit everybody into the classrooms, fit all the classes into the curriculum. You may remember this summer when we had the tour of the Allied Health Building and the chairs were showing us around and talking about their programs, that there are a lot of things that are in the evenings and weekends. And some areas we're getting to about the capacity where we're pretty full.
And once we get to capacity, I mean, will we turn people away or will we find means to serve them on other parts of the campus or other campuses?
Many of these programs are special. Sorry, I'm having trouble with it. You have to apply to get into them. So we already do turn away a lot of people because we don't have capacity to take in everybody. We are looking at finding more adjunct faculty so that we can expand. We're looking at doing some things on other campuses. Fort Lupton is an area where we're thinking about doing some expansion. So in some cases, the accrediting bodies limit us to the number of students we can take in. In some cases, you can go up to a point, and then if you're going to expand, you have to jump a whole bunch to create more capacity. So we're looking at those program by program and what the demand is. Another sometimes limitation is we need to be able to place all of our students in clinical partnerships. And so making sure we don't want to expand and bring in a bunch of students and then we can't service them and they can't complete. So we're juggling all of those pieces to serve as many people as we can with as high quality as we have in Ames.
And when you look at AH&W, do the demographics in that area match the demographics of the school as a whole?
Yes and no. To one extent, because the programs are competitive, we use processes where we blind the applications so we don't know who's applying. We've started doing some more focused analysis on once people are selected, looking at those demographics to see how do they match up to to the demographics of the community and the other students on campus. And one of our goals is to try to figure out how, in a blind application process, you can reflect fully the population that's here. And we're looking at that in terms of the preparation that we do to help people get ready to apply. You know, are we providing good opportunities to help prepare people for that process?
And the other thing that you should be very, very proud is your placement rate for jobs. I mean, that is incredible. Students are ensured of having a position when they leave. So thanks to all of you for doing a great job.
Thank you. And I'll just mention some of the people who don't go out into the workforce go on for advanced study in more specialized areas. So it's even better than what's on the paper.
Steve Lindell.
I just had a quick comment. Thank you for putting this all together. It's always extremely informational. Just for what it's worth, I was getting my bone scan at Boulder Community Hospital, and I told them who I'm on the trustees, and they said, "Oh, the Rad Tech program is so good there. I was on a waiting list, and it's so high. It's highly competitive and very well known." And she wasn't able to get in, so she said, "This is an amazing program." So we have a good name in there.
So thank you. And I want to share some of the kudos with my deans who put this all together and help prep all of these presentations for the board.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Oops, sorry.
I just
David,
wanted,
I'm sorry.
Dr. Taylor, I just wanted to add my comments on the impressive graduation rate and job placement, 100% graduation in radiologic technology. It doesn't surprise me because of the demand out there. And 100% passing the exam is really impressive. So congratulations on the great success you've had in those programs.
Thank you. And just to brag on them a little bit more, usually when you look at the exam pass rates, you look at first time pass rates and then overall pass rates. And our first time pass rates are so high. It just speaks volumes for the quality of the programs. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Wonderful. So the next part of the president's report is the employee report. So new hires. So if there are supervisors in the audience that want to introduce new employees, please come on up and line up next to the podium near the flags. And Alex, I guess you're first up. So why don't you take the podium and introduce your three new folks, looks like.
Well, very good. Well, members of the board, Trustee Schock, Dr. Bornstein, Cabinet. It's my honor to be up here and very proud to introduce our new in-house fleet maintenance team for aircraft. And so, as you'll all recall, and as our ASA President David here was speaking earlier, we are on our way to fulfilling our aviation ecosystem. And on either side of me are part of that team. And this team was hired as part of just the fleet maintenance for our flight program. And so these are the individuals who are actually doing the maintenance, keeping our airplanes safe. We are now on our very final stage of doing any work, maintenance work with contractors. And so right now they're a team of 3. They're in the hiring process to fill out the rest of their team, but we had to get some critical roles in place as we built that program over the last probably 5 or so months. We've written, and I say they've written probably 3 or 4 sizable manuals having to do with technical stuff and all things mechanic and regulation that I understand a little bit, but really not a lot. And so super proud of them. Over here on the right is our Director of Aircraft Maintenance, Jeremy Reinders. He comes to us actually originally from Hawaii, so give him a hard time about growing up somewhere great. But he has he has over a decade of maintenance experience, certified airframe and power plant mechanic, which yes, that's exactly what our new educational program, which is starting here next year, is going to produce, is more people like him. He also has what the FAA calls inspection authorization, which is his ability to sign aircraft into airworthiness. So when they go through a big inspection, which those happen regularly, a lot like your car, but a lot more, somebody has to have the authorization, training, ability, knowledge, skill to put a signature down that thing is safe to do, and he's got that. So he's leading this team. And his background, he's worked on a variety of airframes, from helicopters, small airplanes. He's worked at a couple of airlines, and so he's got familiarity with Boeing airplanes. And though hasn't worked on them recently, if everybody remembers the news, but he's doing a great job for us. So that's, yeah, Jeremy, please. On my left, Mark Bouchon, he's our aircraft maintenance technician 3. So he acts as the assistant director in Jeremy's stead. Mark Bouchon has decades of aviation experience working in airlines. He's worked on general aviation, and I think, Mark, how many years you got? 35 years of aviation experience. Actually, all 3 of these individuals have worked on the Ames fleet in the past through our contractors. And so when we set up this program, and it's a mark of how good our program is, I believe, it's my belief personally, that we got the best of the best in the area, and we were able to leverage those relationships with these folks and convince them to come be part of our team. But Mark comes to us again from most recently one of our contractors, actually. In his career, it's obviously been very extensive in general aviation. He's worked in the airline industry as well, served in the U.S. Navy. I believe that was quite a few days ago. A couple days ago, he says, all right. And is our resident expert on all things terms of federal documentation regulation due to his extensive experience. Mark. Then last but certainly not least, right here is Brandon Nunez. He goes by Danny. I'll share a quick story. So he's actually a graduate of our flight program from a while ago. I think probably 5 or 6 years ago. Since then, he decided that maintenance was his calling. And so I joke with him and tease him and say he went and he joined the dark side and became a mechanic, which of course is not true. But he did have that flight experience here with us at Ames. He's a graduate, and going back into 10 something years ago was my primary flight student back when I was I wasn't shorter or thinner, but when I was a much newer sort of an admin person at the Ames Flight Training Center, was still back in the Greeley days. And so we joked and teased a lot, and he procured the nickname Danny. And I don't know if y'all have seen Caddyshack, the movie. If you remember that? Yeah, it's a golf movie, Bill Murray. All right. So there is a character in there named Brandon, well, his name is Danny Noonan, and because of his last name Nunez, the name kind of stuck. I was teasing him about it one day, and so, funnily enough, and then I'll turn the microphone over. But funnily enough, a few years after he had moved over to the maintenance side, I happened back into our contractor's maintenance shop on an unrelated issue and saw him and said, "Hey, Danny!" And he comes up and he says, "Hey," and he's got a maintenance. I guess what do you guys call the coverall, the coat, a maintenance coat, right? An all-weather Carhartt kind of thing, and embroidered on it is Danny. That's his name. Like, the name stuck, which was just something that I was just a fan of and proud of. He was a great student in the flight program. He's gone through and he's gotten his airframe power plant certificate and worked with our contractors for the last 5 years. Super proud to have him back on the team. Brandon Nunez. All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you and welcome to Ames. Paul.
Morning, or good afternoon. I'm proud to introduce Chris Mornowitz, who is our new food services manager. He comes to us with many years of experience in the culinary industry, and we're excited to have him.
Welcome to Ames, Chris. And that concludes the president's report, Chair Schock.
Thank you. I thought I missed something there for a minute. Next up, we have our reflections, comments, or accolades. If any of the board members have any comments regarding these or future topics or any recognitions. Okay. Next up, we're reaching the end of the meeting. We always take a moment for self-assessment because we value accountability. Do any of you have feedback about what worked well, any challenges or things we need to improve?
I would just comment, that it is so impressive, the data that you give us, upon which we can make decisions, but it's impressive how thorough you are in putting the data together on each of these topics. I know it was said earlier, but it really gives us some good information upon which to make decisions. Impressive.
Let's go there. Okay. We will have finished our tour of the Applied Technology and Trade Center. That was the last part of of our retreat. That we needed to finish that or wanted to finish that. And with that, I would ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is
I move that we adjourn.
there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Meeting adjourned at 2:21.